A cordial greeting. Today is Tuesday, October 14, 2025. Meteorologist Ruben Garcia speaking. In this short video, I'll give an update on the tropical wave that has emerged from Africa, which we'll be monitoring calmly over the next few days as it moves westward. It is forecast that in about 6 days it will cross over the southern Lesser Antilles, bringing some heavy downpours and gusty winds. And although tropical cyclone development is not anticipated over the next 7 days, in the long term it could find favorable conditions for development over the waters of the Caribbean Sea. This is why NOAA's Climate Prediction Center has marked the Caribbean region with over a 40% probability of tropical cyclone development during the period from October 22 to 28. And this confirms what we mentioned in yesterday's video, where conditions appear to be very favorable for this tropical wave to find a supportive environment for development and strengthening once it reaches the Caribbean Sea. Additionally, note that the entire region south of the Greater Antilles, north of Venezuela and Colombia, and east of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Honduras, and Nicaragua has been highlighted. And although there are still many days left to monitor and much can change in the projections, it's important that if you live anywhere from Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Honduras, or Nicaragua, you remain attentive to the evolution of this tropical wave. Let's look at the global model projections for the next 7 to 9 days. Remember that forecasts beyond 7 days carry a high margin of error, which, as you'll see in the next few minutes, means we still don't know exactly what the track and intensity of this tropical wave might be once it reaches the Caribbean Sea. For example, the European model shows a strong tropical wave moving across the central and southern Lesser Antilles between Sunday night and Monday, then continuing westward, passing south of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. It's not until late next week that it possibly develops into a tropical depression south and southeast of Jamaica. Meanwhile, the American model also shows a strong tropical wave or perhaps a tropical low crossing the southern Lesser Antilles Monday afternoon. And notice that for at least the next 8 days, it doesn't develop the system into a tropical cyclone. So compare this run to previous ones, where we've seen much uncertainty regarding the possible location, intensity, and path of this tropical wave. Therefore, I must emphasize that we still don't know how strong it could become in the Caribbean Sea, nor what its exact future trajectory might be. As for the German model, it also shows a strong tropical wave moving across the southern Lesser Antilles between Sunday and Monday, then maintaining a westward trajectory south of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, and in about 7 to 8 days developing into a tropical depression north of Venezuela and Colombia. The UK model similarly shows a strong tropical wave or tropical low moving across the southern half of the Lesser Antilles, passing south of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, and beginning to show tropical development south of Haiti around 7 to 8 days from now. So, as you can see, the models agree that if tropical cyclone development occurs in the Caribbean Sea, it won't happen until mid-next week, which represents a long-range forecast and explains why the National Hurricane Center hasn't yet marked this area with development probabilities over the next 7 days. And because this is a long-range outlook, uncertainty remains high, which is evident when looking at the model ensembles. For instance, in the American model, notice the wide range of scenarios among the ensemble members, from tracks far to the east to others moving into the Western Caribbean. This animation clearly shows the great uncertainty that exists in the long term, which is completely normal for forecasts extending beyond 7 days. The same is true in the European ensemble, where some members develop a tropical depression before reaching the Lesser Antilles, but in the long term there's still much uncertainty regarding the location, track, and intensity of this tropical wave. Another example of how uncertain this forecast remains. The same pattern repeats in the Google AI model ensemble. So, compared to yesterday, there are no major changes. The models continue to indicate that it won't be until 7 to 9 days from now that we might begin to see any signs of cyclonic organization. We are confident, however, that the tropical wave will move into Caribbean waters, and we'll see what happens by mid to late next week. Over the next few days, we'll continue seeing important changes in the projections, and for now, we just need to stay watchful but calm. If we briefly discuss the expected effects in parts of the Lesser Antilles, for example, the American model projects heavy rainfall for Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada, Barbados, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In this area, rainfall totals could reach between 3 and 5 inches between Saturday and Tuesday, increasing the chance of localized flooding. Depending on how strong the system is when it reaches the Caribbean, the American model also suggests gusty conditions with wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour affecting Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Grenada, and Trinidad and Tobago. So we'll have to see what eventually happens with this tropical wave. As an example, let's look at some global model solutions. The European model in its latest run showed a tropical storm approaching northern Nicaragua and eastern Honduras. Meanwhile, the European AI model kept the system relatively weak, moving toward Nicaragua as a strong tropical wave around October 27 to 28. The latest Canadian model run showed a tropical storm approaching the Dominican Republic and Haiti around October 22, and the latest American model run had a rather weak system, taking longer to organize near October 24, just south of Jamaica. So I think it's very clear that we should remain calm. We still have plenty of days to carefully monitor the progress of this tropical wave. For now, the first areas to experience its effects will be the Lesser Antilles, where some heavy showers and breezy conditions are expected between Sunday and Monday. But for now, it's not expected to arrive as a tropical cyclone. In the longer term, we'll be watching closely to see what happens in the Caribbean Sea, aware that conditions there could become favorable for significant strengthening due to supportive atmospheric patterns and above-average sea surface temperatures. Here at Hurricane Info, I'll continue monitoring this tropical wave and will keep you informed of any changes in the projections. And so you don't miss any of this content, I invite you to like this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell so you receive notifications when I post new videos. I hope everyone has an excellent night. Tomorrow, I'll record a new update. See you then.